What you're seeing here is on Interstate 40, on the Tennessee-North Carolina border. And although it may look like it, this footage is not from Hurricane Helene. The already present construction that you're seeing here is from the damages of that hurricane. But this footage was taken yesterday, June 18th, 2025, along the section of the highway that's already under construction due to Helene.
I want to begin with an afternoon storm in the Smokies that is continuing to cause big problems tonight. Right now, a section of I-40 remains closed just west of the Tennessee-North Carolina state line, right around mile marker 450, 451. Now, throughout the evening, we've been seeing pictures from the area after rushing water from that storm sent mud and debris onto the interstate. State Representative Jeremy Faison from Cosby posted these pictures on social media showing the floodwaters covering interstate lanes. Faison saying that TDOT has confirmed that motorists who were caught in those rising waters have all been accounted for. And here's a closer view in video posted by TDOT spokesperson Mark Nagy. It shows a big rig and at least 2 cars stranded in those floodwaters. Tonight, Nagy saying that I-40 remains closed in both directions near the state line with North Carolina. He adds that TDOT will be on site in the morning once the waters recede to evaluate and assess the impacts to infrastructure. But as of now, no timeline has been set on when the road will reopen. And of course, keep in mind, if you're headed to the Carolina coast, I-81 to I-26 is still an option. Meanwhile, here's another view thanks to Amber Yoder traveling through the area from South Carolina. This also gives us a look at a problem to deal with once the water goes down. Mud, down tree limbs, gravel piled high, apparently blocking the off-ramp there at exit 451. Also, here's another perspective on the flooding in that area.
The stage just went, we're stuck here. We're a little stranded. The stage just went.
Yeah, Mahala Owen sharing this video with us. Look at all that water surging downstream, carrying off a performance stage that was previously somewhere below the porch where this video was taken.
So yes, as you've seen and heard, there's a major development in western North Carolina and East Tennessee today, right along the Tennessee state line. That's stirring up a lot of memories that a lot of us wish we could forget. A powerful thunderstorm dumped over 2 inches of rain in just 30 minutes, triggering flash flooding and a dangerous mudslide right where I-40 crosses from Tennessee into North Carolina. This is a section of I-40 that swings right around Great Smoky Mountains National Park. And as you heard in the video, as of last night, the interstate was completely shut down, eastbound and westbound lanes. Just a month ago, only 1 lane had reopened in each direction after major damage from Tropical Storm Helene, which was Hurricane Helene, but by the time it got here, it was just Tropical Storm, nearly a year ago. Now the road is closed again. This time, the mudslide struck near exit 451, one of the first exits after crossing into Tennessee. Eyewitness footage shows you just how intense this was. Cars stuck in rising water, debris scattered across the road, trees, and torrents of water rushing down the mountainside. Radar data shows how highly localized the storm was, with the heaviest rainfall concentrated right over the section of the interstate where you saw the big slide just a minute ago. Some spots along that section saw over 2.5 inches of rain in less than a half an hour, an overwhelming amount for any drainage system. So yeah, they're in the middle of a 3-year-long project here, and they received this amount of rain in the section where they're already doing construction. And here's the reality. When it comes to building and rebuilding roads through mountainous regions like this, it's an engineering challenge unlike any other. These aren't flat, predictable landscapes. The terrain is steep, rugged, and constantly shifting. Water doesn't just fall and sit. It runs constantly. And when a sudden downpour hits, that water looks for the path of least resistance, often turning roads, embankments, drainage systems into rivers in an instant. The truth is, even with the best engineering and planning, it's incredibly difficult to anticipate exactly how water will behave during extreme weather events. Drainage systems can be designed to handle a certain amount of runoff, but when you get this kind of rainfall, what amounts to a week's worth of rain in about 10 minutes, those systems can be overwhelmed very quickly. And once the ground becomes saturated, it's not just water that you're dealing with. The soil holding up the mountainside can give away. So now you're talking about land and rock and mud. Landslides and mudslides aren't just possible, they're inevitable over time in a region like this.
How much more do I have in the gas tank? I mean, these these floods are coming through. They seem to be more frequent now. And, you know, it's not just the water, it's the debris that comes down with the water, and it punches holes in my bridge and my rock wall. And I have to reinforce it and refix it all up with the excavator and all that. About 3:30, it started raining really hard, and it just kept climbing, and I was concerned about it. It didn't get quite as high as Helene, but it was up there.
Rick W., who we just heard from, saying each time he has to fix the property due to flooding, it's time intensive and expensive.
That brings us to a point that many of you have brought up in our past videos. Should I-40 be rerouted away from the river entirely? It's a fair question, and maybe one worth serious consideration at this point. As it stands, the interstate snakes through some of the most unstable and flood-prone terrain in the region, right along the Pigeon River. We're talking about a stretch of highway that's repeatedly suffered closures, damage, and delays due to weather and natural hazards. I've even seen some of you in the comments say that when this route was first planned, that people and engineers were saying this is not a good idea. Further, I've heard even more of you say that once the rebuilding started from Hurricane Helene, engineers were calling for a reroute then as well. While rerouting will be an enormous and expensive undertaking, it might be more sustainable long term than continuing to patch and rebuild a route that clearly struggles to hold up. It's just so unpredictable, and as we come into hurricane season again, and this construction is still ongoing, and we're seeing the uncertainty around this region, we could be set up for a failure of epic proportions. And me saying this isn't a knock to the hard-working individuals on the ground there on I-40. These individuals are working hard to get this vital route back in working order. Seems to me the truth is we're playing a game against Mother Nature, and Mother Nature just doesn't lose games like this. As we heard in the news clip, a critical update for travelers, there is currently no time frame for when I-40 will reopen. TDOT is in the process of evaluating the structural integrity of the impacted stretch of highway, and with good reason. This isn't just about cleaning debris. It's about making sure the ground beneath the road is still safe enough to carry vehicles. And some of you in the comments of past videos as well have said that you didn't trust it to begin with. But now that this has happened, I'm sure it's even more in question in the eyes of most. There was an announcement coming out of Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Now, we live right here in Gatlinburg, so we saw the impact of traffic once I-40 was shut down due to Hurricane Helene. And it was a nightmare for officials around here, especially in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. So it's important to remember that commercial vehicles are not permitted to cross through the park via Newfound Gap Road. While Newfound Gap is one of the few other east to west thoroughfares of the region, it's not designed for heavy freight or commercial transport. During the extended closure of Hurricane Helene, any commercial vehicle caught attempting to cross the park on Newfound Gap Road faced a $5,000 fine. So any of you commercial drivers out there, please take note. Don't try to go over Newfound Gap Road in Great Smoky Mountains National Park. They will fine you.
So here's what you need to know if you plan to drive through the area. I-40 is closed just east of exit 451 on Waterville Road. Traffic will need to take exit Hartford Road that's exit 447. If you are heading into North Carolina, you'll need to take I-81 north to I-26 east. One thing we did note when I was driving into Cott County this morning, on that near Jefferson County, that I-81, I-40 split, there had been so many semi-trucks parked on the side of the road. We also saw last night Great Smoky Mountains National Park announcing that no commercial vehicles are allowed into the park. These semi-trucks are trying to find diversions, trying to get around this mess that occurred here on Interstate 40.
As we saw there in the most current updates on the news clips, at this point, emergency crews are still working to clear the roadway and to get vehicles out of the affected area. But for now, I-40 at the North Carolina-Tennessee border remains closed. If you're traveling through this region, you'll need to find an alternate route. As is a developing story, we'll be back with you with any significant updates that occur. That's about it for us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.